Did you ever struggle to create a plan for your game? Or you never actually tried to and you struggle with decision making? If that's the case, this video is for you. Decision making in Dota is very complex. If we consider that, creating a simple plan for your game will make it so much easier. It comes down to knowing your lane matchup, game dynamic, and timings that you and your enemies will have. Creating a good plan will absolutely win you a lot of the games. In this video, I will show you how I do that in my games, what things I consider while creating it, and how to react while not everything goes according to it. So in the first example, I have a privilege not to first pick. While most supports will be picked in the first phase, this part might not usually matter for you, but in this game I had the chance to second pick, so I will also explain how I made the decision to pick Hoodwink. First of all, my axe was picked in the first phase, and he did that into Furion and Ringmaster. I had second phase pick, so I had to pick something that complements the hero well. Axe likes to have mobile supports that are able to rotate, as at some point he's likely to skip creeps, and later on he might need some damage for the first few blink jumps. On top of that, you should usually aim to have range plus melee combo on your lane. It's pretty convenient for both heroes. One can harass freely while the other can soak up pressure. I knew I had to do well against Furion and Ringmaster. The golden rule about having second phase pick is to choose something that does well against enemy heroes, the ones you see. While Ringmaster doesn't really care about anything, I know Furion wants to be able to kill supports alone. I knew for a fact that enemies were likely to try and counter my axe. With all of this in my mind, I made the decision to pick Hoodwink, as I expected Ursa or Monkey King to come out. Hoodwink is really good against Furion, but is also a natural use buyer, and that item counters a lot of the things that counter Axe. I wasn't surprised by their Ursa pick, but I knew the lane would be hard. The dynamics of this game are actually very interesting. My carry picked Spectre, a hero that is basically giving up on any lane she's in. With Oracle, they have very weak lane, but all Spectre wants is to get level 6 and get some kills on the map. With all of that in mind, my mid laner decided to actually try and win a single lane. For that reason, he picked Huskar into Void Spirit. While this is a very good matchup for him, the top lane we've got Tidehunter together with Furion. That creates a scenario where Tidehunter gets a very easy lane and is able to solo it at certain point, and Furion wants to rotate and get a lot of kills, even on the mid lane. This is also complex, and that's why I want to show you this game, because it's very interesting. So what I'm thinking in this game, I want Axe to have a decent game and play under his tower early. If Ursa is ever allowed to hit Axe for too long, especially at lower levels, we're going to have issues. I'm willing to sacrifice my game a bit for him to do well, and I'm expecting my Huskar to win mid. I'm also aware that top will be hard for my team and that Furion will be looking to rotate to both lanes, so I need to be ready for that. For that reason, I want to get level 4 ASAP, so I can get my E and not worry about getting sprouted. Around that time, I'd like to rotate more, since Axe will most likely be able to solo the lane. To be fair, going on Tide in my case is kinda pointless before I hit level 6, but after that, it would be really good if I can break him. I will probably just play towards Huskar and farm near him, being able to react to ganks and eventually try to kill Void Spirit if he ever overextends and uses his mobility spells. All of this is something I think about start of the game. You need to give yourself a simple plan. In this case, it was simple. Get Axe Blink ASAP, play around his stun, get kills, make sure Huskar doesn't feed early, get Yule Scepter to dispel Ursa, set up kills for Spectre and Huskar, and it worked. How do you create that plan? How do you make good decisions? The answer is within the questions. If you have a rough idea what do you want to do, it means you've actually thought about what the enemies might want to do. That creates a dynamic where every decision you make is based on what the enemy is likely to do. If your carry is fat at 15 minutes and he's farming jungle and 4 enemy heroes are missing, you can assume they are going to try and smoke gank him. If you manage to block the gank with your body or let your carry know that the enemies are likely smoking, chances are you will save him, and potentially the whole game. Creating a good plan for the game is the foundation of good decision making. If you know the enemies plan to go high ground after rush, simply force them away from it. You're wasting their time, giving your core space to catch up and increasing your chances of winning. As for the early game, ask yourself, what is our timing? How do we get there? If you have timings in mind, your decision becomes faster and more reliable. Always consider timings when planning your next move. Obviously, your plan won't always go well. Remember, you're playing against enemies, not bots, despite what every second mid laner in Immortal Draft says. They will have their own plans and will actually try to counter yours. That's why we love Dota. You have to outsmart and outplay your enemies. Sometimes you have to improvise. With all the decisions made in this game and fair play to Axe, he did his job well, we managed to get a very good timing on his blink. That basically wins us the game as we're able to get a lot of kills by playing with him. The decision to play towards his lane early until he was strong enough to skip paid dividends. Then, leaving him to solo farm while I moved around to make plays elsewhere worked exactly as planned. This is another game that is quite interesting. On the bot lane, I had Axe as my lane partner and we were against Drow and Undying. This is a really rough lane for us. I can't really harass Undying that well because A, he's very tanky, and B, Drow will have easy time harassing my Axe. I wish I could harass Drow, but Undying won't ever let me. My top lane had Alchemist and Bounty Hunter. I knew they would struggle too. With that in mind, I decided I wanted to start creeps in the triangle. Either Axe or Alchemist would be able to farm them, and that's how we could recover from rough lanes. I also wanted to drag the second wave so Axe would have easier time last sitting under the tower, and this is what you should usually do against Undying. If Drow drags the creeps too, I can just get the last hits with power shot from distance. If I do that, I will get early boots, which lets me stack more efficiently for my Axe and then for the Alchemist as well. So for some reason this lane went as well as it could. I unblocked the large camp and Undying never bothered to block it again. I never intended to contest the Lotus anyways, it's a suicide into Tombstone, so I went to stack the triangle while buying boots before 3 minutes. In theory, I could help mid while stacking, but that would only work if my patch had a good start, since all I can do right now is throw a power shot. Notice how little time I spend in lane. All I'm doing is pulling and stacking. If they are together, we can't pressure them. You don't want to try winning the lane if you're way less likely to win, especially if you have a ways to recover. All you need to do is just stack and pull. And again, I'm pulling every minute. My Axe is strong enough to skip creeps at this point, so when I pull the lane, I deny experience from Drow as she's unlikely to go that deep to get 2 last hits on neutrals. It also sets me up for a successful mid rotation where my Pudge is losing, but with a quick TP, I'm able to get a kill. And after that, I go stack again. By the 6-minute mark, I had created a lot of the stacks, helped Axe recover from a tough lane, and managed not to feed against very hard lane. He's obviously behind the Drow in terms of farm, but he's gonna get there with stacks. And this is no coincidence. I created a plan and stuck to it. I decided I was going to get boots ASAP and then bought them before 3-minute mark. That was a decision I made during the strategy time. And you should be doing that every game. Ask yourself, how will the first 5 minutes look like? Are we the strong in this lane or are we weak? Itemize and adjust your playstyle accordingly. Watch out for unexpected outcomes, but having a plan in the first place will always lead to a better game. Decision making in Dota might seem overwhelming at first, but having the right plan and asking yourself the right questions will make it so much easier. If you want to know what questions you should be asking yourself, I bring that up in basically every video on the channel, and I suggest you watch them if you want to climb MMR. Thanks for watching, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment as it helps me a lot. See you!